Can you just ride in a truck already? Wag! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Fast. Old Big Mek here with a short little hobby news and update thing. Let's get into it! That's right, we actually have a return of the news, which was a little segment that I was doing for quite a while there in the lead up to the Orc Codex, because it seemed like every week or so we would have some new news on Orc stuff with which to talk about. Now that the Codex is out and done, it kind of felt like, well, I don't really need to do the news anymore, but we do cover all the armies here and all that good stuff. But also, there's a million YouTube channels for Warhammer that cover this kind of thing. So it makes it difficult because unless you are like super on top of it every single time, you just kind of get lost in the noise. And so we're going to take a step back and we're going to do it Orky style like we did originally. And just, you're going to randomly get some news when it's some news worth telling. And today is some news worth telling. And what that news is a little interesting. We've talked about this a couple of times. This is kind of a thing Games Workshop does, is when you go to the Warhammer community website, there won't necessarily be an article about it, right? It's not a full balance data slate or a Munitorium field manual update or anything like that. But they do have all these free downloads for indexes, FAQs, erratas, etc. And they will update those, but not necessarily tell you with an article. So you have to like click on it to even know that it's been done. And what happened is a couple of days ago on the 29th of May, Games Workshop released an FAQ for the Leagues of Votann, the Orcs, and the Adeptus Custodes. Now, I don't play Leagues of Votann or Custodes, so I can't really comment on the here or there of either of those. But obviously, as an Orc myself, you know, the Orc update was definitely very interesting to me. Now, again, there's a million channels that cover this, and Auspex Tactics had a video up, I want to say 30 minutes before Games Workshop even released the updates, because somehow he can time travel. I joke, obviously, but yeah, he had a full deep dive breakdown into all the rules for all the different things right away. But the long and the, that's the long of it. We're going to do the short of it. The short of it is Grot's changed. So what it is Gretchen's little special ability is called Thieving Scavengers. And basically it's at the start of your command phase, you would roll a d6 for every objective marker you controlled that had this ability. And if you got a 4+, you gained a CP. So they were a CP farm, right? You wanted to have at least 2 Grot units in your army usually to sit on some home objectives, and hopefully at least one of them would roll a 4-up and you would gain a CP. The hard part was, because it was in the beginning of the command phase, you couldn't technically do it the first round. And it also meant that like Battle Shock made issues and things like that. So anyways, what it is, they changed it to at the start of your movement phase. So it makes Grots a little bit better on that turn 1 thing, but a little bit worse on continuing Battle Shocks. I don't know, Auspex has like a really deep dive into it. But again, for the casuals like us, it just means that Grots can start working on turn 1 now, because you do it in the movement phase instead of the command phase. Easy. And the second thing, and this is why it's newsworthy for this particular channel, is that they've updated Ghazghkull Thraka and how many spaces he takes up again. For those of you that aren't aware or have short memories, way back when the index first came out for all the armies for 10th edition, Old Big Mek here did a very deep dive into all of the Orc things and very quickly determined that Ghazghkull Thraka did not have any kind of a restriction on him because he was missing the Mega Armor keyword and all these other things. And so basically Gaz took up 1 slot in the original index rules. And I made a whole big old video about it that pretty well kickstarted this channel, and people were really like going, oh yeah, you're like totally right. There were massive mistakes with the keywords all over the place in that first version of the index. And even after they tried to fix it, they made it where he couldn't ride in the battle wagon, but he could ride in the truck because they only put it on the battle wagon's data card instead of on Ghazghkull's, which I still don't understand. They should put it on Ghazghkull's. Whatever. But they have finally, now that they've updated the index numerous times, and finally done the codex, and now FAQ'd the codex, they finally have, here is what Ghazghkull can do. So, The battle wagon has a transport capacity of 22 orcs. And then 12 orcs if it has a kill cannon, which is interesting. It used to be Ard case is what made it smaller. Now it's only the one cannon. You can take the regular cannon or the zap gun and the Ard case and still hold 22, but not the kill cannon. Funnily enough, you can also technically take a kill cannon without an Ard case, which I don't know why you'd want to do that. The model certainly can't do that. But anyways, I digress, as usual. But 22 orcs, unless you have a kill cannon, then it's 12, and every mega armor or jump pack takes up 2 spots. Easy peasy, right? That means that you could take 11 mega armor knobs, 11 mega knobs, in a battle wagon that does not have a kill cannon on it. What they ended up doing is they said the Ghazghkull model, and they finally said model and not unit, because the unit includes Makari 2, which made Ghaz take up like 38 spots or something stupid like that before. But the Ghazghkull model takes up the space of 15 models, but can only embark within the model if it is not equipped with an Ard case, cannon, kill cannon, or zap gun. So interestingly, they make you leave the Ard case off, leave the guns off, and then you could take Ghazghkull. He takes up 15 slots on his own. That means Makari takes up 1. That's 16 slots. That gives you 6 slots left, so you can take 3 Mega Knobs with Ghaz to be his bodyguard unit. So that is actually a great change. We finally have it. Although, funnily enough, that means that even though the Stampa has that kind of transport capacity, Ghaz can't ride in it. Yada, 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 all that good stuff. Yeah, if you want some funny and a deep dive down history, definitely go check out my older videos on it, because it was hilarious how they kept trying to make Ghazghkull not be able to ride in things and just kept screwing it up worse and worse and worse. Like, there was seriously a point where Ghaz could ride in a truck with a bunch of mega knobs, 100% legal. It wasn't like we were trying to get one over by being sneaky. It was straight up geedubs just was not doing basic work at all. So we finally got them on there. Anyways, so that's done and dusted. Now we've got Ghazghkull, Makari, and 3 mega knobs can go in a battle wagon, but you can't take the Ard case or any of the fun guns. All right, moving on. The Hunter rig got a little update on its ability. So not the kill rig, but the Hunter rig has a thing where it has extra attacks, and then that number changed depending on how many Beast Snag Boys are on it, except for way back in the core rules, extra attacks can't be modified. So they had to make it read that, no, on this one you really can modify it, and that makes sense, and that's how it should be. Oh yeah, I guess the Stampa is on there. I should keep reading before I keep talking. So yeah, now Ghazghkull takes up the space of 15 models in the Stampa as well. So now Ghazghkull can ride in the battle wagon and in the Stampa.